today, main highlights, gateway deployment on testnet. This is planned for early this week. And yeah, one thing remaining is one review from our last pull request. So we should have like updates on that tomorrow morning. Right now, we're already testing, deploying the contracts, seeing everything, all the deployment scripts are working and making some last changes in the process. For the process, the inbounds on testnet, I mean, the syschecks in general will be paused. So one chain after the other, we're gonna deploy the gateway on one new chain. This chain will be paused during the time. Estimated 1 hour. Should take less, but this just to be to be a bit more comfortable. I will make announcement for this. The gateway, as we mentioned last week, will not be directly production ready. It should not be used for production ready contracts. It's the testnet anyway, but it will be same for mainnet. But yeah, should not be used before the next protocol upgrades that is planned early mid November. The other, if that matter, yeah, the other I'm considering for deploying the gateway are first BSC, Amoy, Base, and Sequoia. BSC first because it's one of the chain we have ERC3, so this will allows us to test directly the deployment and migration of the ES2 in custody. Sequoia is also has a ERC20, but it's bigger chain, so I think it's better to first do the smaller chain and move gradually. So yeah, is there any comment on that?
Can you please increase the size of the text so that everyone can see? Sorry to interrupt.
Right. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna just think further with the team later today, so we can see to make public announcement when the chain will be posted.
One quick question on this, Lucas. So if
Yeah.
it's roughly an hour per chain, are you thinking we'll just kind of do a status page of these chains will be paused over the next 4 hours and just kind of do one big window?
We can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good. Next up, next protocol release. Everything is finished almost. So there is just this one up here that brings a fix. The smart contract, not some direct link. It's actually this one. Of the spear. So please. Oh, okay. There's a review from Charlie. If someone else in the team want to review, it's not big change. I mean, there are a lot of lines, but because of code generation. But yeah, if someone else in the team want to have a look, please do it after the call, and so we can merge to there. And so yeah, authenticated core release. So it will be ready. After that, we're gonna create the branch. Then for the actual proposal for testnet, we're gonna discuss with the team, but potentially, so we're gonna send the proposal next week, and the upgrade on testnet will be the week after. Yeah. Any other comment on that? Far so good. Initial staking, yeah, Borja, you working on this. You have a PR runner that is in draft mode. Do you have any updates you want to give?
Yeah, the main function distribute is complete by now. What I'm doing now is working on the refactoring of unit testing because, long story short, the staking unit testing that we were doing previously, they are lacking some functions like having CRC20s in the system when they are running. So I'm basically finishing that part, and after that I will ship the end-to-end test by invoking the staking contract directly and also through another contract. That should be it for the distributed function, and then I will start working in the withdrawing the rewards. That's it for now.
Okay. So anything that can be reviewed already if you are working on the unit test?
Anything that can be viewed.
Okay.
For now, I don't have anything to demo, to be honest.
Okay. No, I mean review from the team.
Okay. Yeah, no, I opened the PR for draft just so because it's gonna be a long PR, so that can be reviewed by the team in advance before it's getting too complicated.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so after that, next step, so we can work looking into actually using function and distributing fees from cross transaction to the stickers.
Yeah.
Cool. And claim rewards it's not started yet.
No, it's not started yet.
Okay. Done. So you're working on withdrawal, Dmitry. Yeah, any
Yep.
help needed on this?
I think that I probably need some help from either you or ZetaChain regarding some internals of ZetaCore. Because the tricky part for tone withdrawals is that when we send a transaction, we don't have a transaction hash, so we can rely only on nonce. Then we need to scroll all outbound transactions from gateway on Ton and match them with the outbound trackers. So I wouldn't say that this is a blocker, but the logic is different from what we have in, let's say, Ethereum or Bitcoin or Solana signers. But I think I spoke to Tenmei the other day, and he said that basically we primarily rely only on nonce, so that should not be a blocker from the core of ZetaChain. And yeah, right now, what I've done is that last week, I made a significant work on improving gateway. I finally figured out all edge cases for gas usage, for inbound, outbound authority operations. And yeah, in this very pull request for withdrawals, I also updated all encoding and decoding stuff for the new gateway changes. Yeah, so right now I'm working on signer part. Found several parts that we can improve in the future, but I think it all relates to that huge topic of having RFC for orchestrator v2 within Zeta client. And yeah, in order to have a narrow scope of my PR, I decided not to refactor the whole thing, right? So I just placed some to-dos, and then we can tackle this as a separate piece of work.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it mostly. Yeah, I think I have several questions, small questions regarding how things work, but I will.
The one you
we
put
can
on
follow
Slack.
up. Yeah. Mostly
Yeah.
mostly on Slack, because
Yeah.
unfortunately we lack documentation on some internals, and also I thought when we were gonna refactor orchestrator and Zeta client, it will be good to have like a technical description of all pieces that we have for all like end-to-end experience for cross-chain transactions. I think it's very vital to have at least some
Yeah.
high-level charts and
Yeah.
markdown documents for this.
Yeah, if it can help the refactoring the Zach clients, we can focus prioritize the documentation for what is needed for that. The way
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, but I aim for end-to-end tests for withdrawals this week. Then what's going to happen next is that I also need to implement some minor PRs for, let's say, compliance checks and some other minor stuff that I've placed as to do right now.
Yeah, we can just track those. It's not important before minutes.
Yeah.
Minutes is at least January anyway. So
yes.
at least yeah. So
Also,
that's good.
also it's good to start looking for some companies who can audit, like at least the contract part.
Yeah.
I have several companies that can do this. Or I can speak with people who like building on ton and already have some audits done. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a private repo security where we send audit requests.
Mm-hmm.
You can search. I created one for ton. So I think you can put your suggestion there. I think
Yeah.
just manage this, if I'm not mistaken, Charlie.
Yeah, that's right. And if you can put the few that you know that are good, that'd be great. We can try and reach out to them. The trouble is, until we actually have a date and code to show them, it's like, hey, we want you to audit some code at some point, and there's not a lot of conversation to happen because we can't really tell them when it's ready. But as we get closer, like it's good to have the list you've got going, and then we can kick that off as we get closer to deadline.
You can't get like some quotes already like you don't say the date, but you say yeah, you just send some code like you already compare between different solutions.
No, not really. I mean, like this has been my experience with them a lot of the time is they just refuse to do it, or it's a ton of back and forth, and it's like, all right, here's this ballpark figure, but we're not going to really dive into the code because you might add a whole bunch of lines, that kind of stuff. And it's one of those things where it has to happen regardless. So once we have everything ready, we'll go get quotes from a few folks and then make a decision based on that. But like having the quote now isn't going to change how you're writing the code, so it doesn't really change much.
I think as a step one, we can challenge the whole thing end to end internally, like try to look and find some edge cases. Because I think right now I'm the only one who has the most context on this, and would be great to share the knowledge. And also, I think it will be good if we'll schedule some discussion between, let's say, me and Dennis for dev experience and for the part of the integration with the front ends, because we need to add all of that encoding decoding between TypeScript and font, fancy, etc. Right for having a SDK. Probably it's already a good time to discuss things, because I envision that it might be possible that, let's say, Dennis will start to write SDK part and realize that something is implemented in a very like unnatural and weird way. And because we don't have yet committed to audit, we can change things easily, and it will be way harder to change them afterwards, right?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Because I'm imagining we're going to roll this out to main or to testnet, start building some of the SDK stuff, and like having people start using it. And that's about the time we'll want to do the audits. We start getting feedback on usage as well, so we can make changes at the same time.
Yeah. Dennis, what do you think?
So this is for encoding not the payload, but the whole messages, right?
Yeah, I think it's about integrating like Tone.js. I think it's called either ToneLib.js, like ToneWeb.js. It's like similar to Everest.js or Web3.js, but it's kind of different, and they have their weird formats of encoding stuff. Yeah, we can follow up on this week if you want.
Yeah, that would be great. I think like testing this before it reaches testnet is using the network with the Docker containers and everything in the node repos is not great from developer experience point of view. Like we have local net for EVM. I was just wondering if Ton is easy to launch, similar to like Forge Anvil, where you just run a command and it launches a chain. Maybe it would make sense to add this to localnet, or would that be an overkill?
Well, I spent quite a time to make this happen. Like we have repo with Dockerized version of Ton. So we just like spin up a container and it works.
But does it run with? I mean, you spent already this amount of work trying to kind of get it up and running. So I was just wondering if it's possible to launch it without Docker. Have you looked into that?
Oh, I mean like without Docker? No, it's not. At the
Oh,
moment, it's
okay.
not.
Okay, well, then I guess. Okay, yeah, we're gonna be using the node repo for that, I guess.
Yeah, I think over time that would be interesting to have all network in the local nets, and you're using the same worker program that forward the transactions. Maybe it's something we could look in Solana. It could be simpler. I don't know how easy it is to start a local net on Solana.
We looked at this before, and I believe the node requirements are so high you can't run them on your local laptop very easily, especially if you're also trying to run other containers.
Even for just local nets. Like
I think so. It's been a while since I looked at it.
okay.
I don't know, Chris or Alex, if you guys
Cool.
remember.
You can totally run Solana, but it's going to peg out a full CPU core at 100%.
Yeah, okay. That's not for client. But okay, that's weird. Like, I mean, they don't have something like that run the SVM, but without running the entire consensus. I'm surprised.
I'll take a look at Solana CLI. I think they have something for this, and even like if it doesn't require you to run a bunch of like containers and orchestration and everything. Like if the developer experience is good, I don't think CPU overhead is a deal breaker, right? You're going to be running it for a short while to test your contracts, but it would be very useful. But I do think it's probably going to be easier for Solana than on Ton than with Ton. So we're probably going to do it first for Solana if that's possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Moving forwards in bonds, integrating standard Milo. Yeah, still work on that, Charlie. Any estimation when it can be put open for review?
Yeah, sure. I think this is gonna be done maybe by today. So I just need a few more unit tests to achieve a better coverage. So then,
Okay.
so this PR basically only enable the revert address for the Bitcoin deposit or deposit core. And only until we fully enable the gateway contract in the V2 contract will be, integrate more like more options like a board address or something. Yeah, that's the whole idea.
Can this feature be shipped off? Like, can it be turned off when in mainnet, or is it going to be enabled immediately when we deploy V21?
So it's if we want to make the final there is for V21. It's this week, but potentially we can backport it. But in any case, we should disable it for now. We should have it on testnet for Bitsmiley. That's what we've been discussing. So we should have a easy way to keep it disabled, like we have right now with inscription. But if it uses inscription anyway, if you disable inscription, so it's disabled by default, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's it for me.
Yeah, if you disable inscription, this can't be used anywhere. Is correct.
Oh, if you disable inscription, then it's still, well, yeah. I noticed that we have a switch to disable enable this inscription by testnet. By network type. So this actually will be enabled. Well, even without the inscription.
No, since it won't go through a security review, we should make sure this is disabled on mainnet. We can do it on mainnet, great, but we should wait to enable it on mainnet until we've actually had that feature go through an audit. And then, Charlie, I'm just curious. One thing, if you've tested or when you're doing end-to-end testing, adding your unit tests, you should try and do some weird stuff like what if the revert address is the TSS address? I'm curious how it handles that type of stuff.
Do we really need to check that? Well, oh, I see. That will be something like yeah, that's a good point. I think that's a good edge case. So if someone reverts the funds to TSS, that's gonna be another deposit. Did you mean that?
Yeah, I'm just curious if it handles that, how it handles it.
Yeah, that's a good edge case. We have to consider that. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean, in the current implementation, if someone does that, that means the funds will then bounce back to somewhere.
But yeah, in any case, I think we can discuss more about it. But just to make sure, like we can disable it for mainnet easily.
Yep.
Okay. And for the memo, so I think the endpoint test is easy. Like you just create the object. Yeah, we need to start looking how it would work if we use a real Bitcoin network. Don't know if you start to look into this. Maybe I don't know. Would see with Dennis. I don't exactly know how it work. You do it with Bitcoin right now. With inscription, but yeah, it's something we should start looking into. We shouldn't be in a situation where we deploy like the feature and then we just don't know to use the new standard. Otherwise, seems we're good to have it completed in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, next up, simulation tests. Any update on it? I think this one is ready for review to be merged.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so this one is ready to be merged, and there are some comments that we shall resolve and merge this today. I'm also working on a separate PR which adds some more simulation tests. That should be ready by tomorrow or day after, and post that I can start working on cross-chain simulation test.
Yeah. Something I've been thinking, so I think having it for all the features we have will be great. But what we have right now has already been battle tested on the blockchain, so I would say it's less priority than testing what we're currently doing. And I think good candidates can be actually all the change we do with universal staking, because so basically we making like new way to distribute staking rewards. We're introducing new invariants. I mean, it's not, we don't define invariants in blockchain yet, but I think we should define invariants. I don't know if you had some discussion around that already, but like for example, the ZRS20 that you lock in the bank module should be more uh, like greater or equal compared to what is minted in the bank module. So since it's things we are adding that are touching staking and all of that, maybe would make sense to look like how we could test those things with simulation tests. There's this one, maybe it depends as well on cross-chain. We should simulate cross-chain if we want to simulate the rewards distribution. So maybe the initial cross-chain integration should be implemented. But I think in general, would be interesting to like prioritize for simulation tests what directly touch all the changes we are making with universal staking. Potentially, it's adding new invariants as well. So the simulation test basically they test all the invariants to automatically check if invariant is broken. So I think yeah, can be interesting for initial staking. What do you think?
Right. Yeah, I think like the specific example that you mentioned regarding the locking of ZRC20, that can definitely be tested using like simulation tests. And also there is like a separate test just for testing the invariants. I'm not sure whether for the ZRC20 we are implementing an like Cosmos SDK invariant check, or is it just something that
We don't
um,
have.
yeah. So I mean, if we do implement that in the future, that can be tested as well. So yeah, I mean, I can try to see if we can have like simulation tests which like make sure that the tests are testing like specific things regarding PRs and see if something breaks. So for example, for this one, that should ideally be the bank module and the balances that it's maintaining.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In any case, I think that will all depend on first having some initial implementation for cross-chain, because you should do cross-chain transaction for everything, test everything.
Right.
But yeah. Then we'll have to simulate as well interaction with the pre-compilers. Not sure it will look like. I don't know, but yeah, we should look into this.
So the like any message or like even the pre-compile, it basically as long as it modifies the Cosmos state, it should be tested by the simulation test because we have tests running for every module. So even if we look at the distribute or like the staking pre-compiles, they are modifying the Cosmos state. And if we have the simulation test for the staking module and the distribution module, that should really test like these changes.
Okay.
But I think it would be good to have something like make a change which we know for a fact should uh, cause problems and make sure the simulation test like breaks just to verify like it's working as expected.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, if you see something missing, please create issues.
Okay.
Last one, Solana. SPL, I think we are good. There is just one PR remaining, if I'm not mistaken. From Stefan is correct. Are you in the call, Stefan?
Yeah, sorry, I was out of stage for some reason. Yeah, so I opened the whitelist SPL, but it's a bit old. I think I left some questions for Charlie mostly. I will ping you, Charlie, after the call.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there are more issues to integrate SPL
Mm-hmm.
on the protocol side, at least to add end-to-end test and to integrate. So
Okay.
yeah. Yeah,
November
I think
1st.
yeah, sorry for interruption. I want to say I think
Go ahead.
from tomorrow I will be able to go back to this work. Yeah, I don't think there will be more on the protocol contract, so I can
Yeah,
go back to SPL.
I think the contract, it's all good. November 1st, for the audit. I don't remember we had this date.
We don't have a date. That's what I'm trying to get. We need a date so I need to know when this is going to be kind of ready so we can start queuing things up. So I was hoping November 1st or like early November, and then we can, because if we're trying to get this out, launched end of November, we need to give probably 2 weeks of audit time in between at least.
Launch
So
on mainnet.
yeah, for mainnet.
So we have the authenticate call upgrade that will be mid-November. I don't think we're gonna make another upgrade just weeks after. And
Do we have to do a software upgrade to enable Solana? I didn't think we did.
I don't know. There are changes needed. I mean, to integrate SPL, there are not changes. That will be a new part of new release.
Okay,
I mean,
so
if you want SPL, but this is what we want to audit. Otherwise, there isn't much that was not audited already. Anyway,
so there's a couple
Solana,
things. All this.
we can deploy Solana without audit and without SPL if we want to push Solana mainnet earlier. But SPL.
No, we should wait and do it with SPL.
Okay.
There's two parts to be audited, I suppose. There's the node side, but we also need to get the contracts audited. I know we did one round of audits, and we did some fixes, but I want to get another set because there's been a lot of changes to it, and I want to get an official audit report that we can make public for people. Because the way it was done through with the competitive theory, we don't have a report to publish.
But do you wait SPL then? Because the smart contract already has already updated doing the auditing, the last auditing. So we have to reintegrate the existing SOL token as well.
What do you mean?
The gas token. The gas token deposit and withdrawal has to be updated in the zip client.
Yeah, it's changed. Are not completed.
I mean, the code already changed, or
we need have pair for that. We need Go binding, so you can see what is interface used. This still need to be integrated. But yeah, for November 1st, so that's too early. And I also
And
think if if we do an audit, I think we should see if we could integrate smart contract core as well.
okay, so when do you think that'll all be ready to get audited and wrapped up?
Stefan started looking into it. I think you've been a bit distracted recently, Stefan, but I don't know if you had already some good set of research on that.
So I guess
Also,
we are targeting beginning of November or November the 1st, right?
no,
I think
later in any case.
Oh yeah, I think it's doable. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I already set up in this whitelist SPL PR a little bit of SPL handling on the Zeta client, and also 2 weeks ago I integrated the latest develop. So those changes are there, but we need to cover the last 2 weeks development time. So yeah, I think it's doable until beginning of November, definitely.
For the smart contract call I was mentioning, did you start looking into it as well?
The arbitrary smart contract call, right, on the Solana.
No, I think we should do it authenticated first. But
Yeah, that's
going
what I
to
was referring to. Yeah, there is a
okay.
PR open there, also for a bit of. I don't know if there is like a comments there on the that's on the Solana repo, right? If you remember, I opened a PR with a couple of discussion points, but I need to follow up on that.
What is the PR for?
It's on the Solana repo, I believe. That's the node.
Okay. I see. I don't know.
Yeah, that one.
Mhm.
So if you scroll down a little bit, I think there is yeah, there is discussion there with some design open questions I had.
Okay.
I think I will follow up with you and Pandro after.
I mean, if it's not, I think even if we don't finish it, we should put like the sensitive parts as part of the audit scope. I think it's gonna be like the gateway contract change we do. Like it's small changes, but that are sensitive, and I think that makes sense to then like integrate it as part of SPL. It's just like if we want to define a date, yeah, is it something like we need maybe sometime still to see
Okay, so I'm trying to line up.
yeah.
Okay, so there's lining. This is both for Bitcoin and Solana. It sounds like Bitcoin might be further along, but there's lining up audits for things, and then there's trying to line up the whole marketing go live push right at the same
Mhm.
time. So it sounds like Bitcoin. Most of the Bitcoin changes, we have the audit going for inscription changes right now. It's further along, and as far as like being feature complete and ready to go than Solana is. Is that accurate? Like we should do a marketing push for our
Yeah.
Bitcoin improvement, and then push Solana back a little bit more.
For Bitcoin,
Kind of what I'm
so there is the inscription audit, there is just this one, but this one we're just gonna disable it for testnet right now because for mainnet because uh, we are just finishing it, but I don't know if that's big changes that will need like full audit, but yeah, basically Bitcoin. I mean, we are finishing like full feature. Marketing wise, I don't really understand. I think in November it's when we push the gateway for production. So to me, it would make more sense to focus doing like promoting the gateway for November. That's the biggest new thing that we are pushing.
Yeah.
That's my
Okay.
opinion. Yeah,
Yeah, I
we're
agree
just
there. It
gonna
makes sense to do that one.
do it.
Yeah, it's just trying to figure out
For
when we're actually going
Solana,
to be releasing Go
yeah,
Live or Solana. Yeah.
just to be clear, Solana without SPL, just Sol token, we can deploy it end of November. If we want to integrate SPL, it's not possible because there is some different things to finish, and yeah, regarding the audit timeline, that it's gonna be too short. And if we get some more time, I think we should integrate some the sensitive change we're implementing for smart trackball. Even if we don't push in production the smart trackball, at least we have like sensitive part that is audited. It's like I know we have set connector v2 that is audited. Um, it's not gonna be pushed in production yet, but the code base already audited, because we
Yep.
did it, so it saves some time. So yeah, I think we should follow the same. And yeah, I don't know if I think December can work. Then I don't know if you want to prepare like big release just before
When you
Christmas,
say
but
December can work, so is that like for going live? Is that like when do you think this like SPL and everything is pretty much wrapped up, ready for audit, ready to go live?
yeah, I think we could look into mid-November.
Okay.
Yeah, we can follow up later this week, since I think Stefan, you're gonna focus on Solana this week.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. For smart contract change, that should not be that big. So if you say like you have two different audits for the change the node and Solana, that's two different things. So yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, just wanted to highlight ZetaLink has created an issue in the node repo about Bitcoin fees. So if someone from the protocol team, maybe Charlie, can take a look, that would be super helpful, because like some transactions are succeeding, some are failing, even though the formula, I mean the logic for calculating the fees seems to be correct.
Okay. Is that mainnet?
Well, they're testing it on testnet, but I think
Oh,
they've also
okay.
tried on mainnet, so we can ask them.
Okay, I see. Yeah. I can take the discussion offline.
Yeah, just keep in mind, Dennis, gas on testnet can be unpredictable at the moment because of issues with testnet 3. So sometimes it might just be the network, not our stuff.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the logic they're using is actually going to work on mainnet, because on mainnet, like, you want all transactions to go through without an issue. Also, do I understand correctly that we need both Bitcoin kind of library for encoding transactions and Ton library as well? So there are like two new libraries that have to be developed.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
All right. I think that's it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.